everyone, welcome to another episode of Together We Succeed. This show is highlighting local business owners and entrepreneurs. Today we have Dallas Hidalgo with Ohana Style Home Group at Exit Realty.
Aloha, everybody.
I've actually known Dallas for many years now, probably about 4 or 5 years now, huh?
Yeah, since we started in the game, really.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Ohana Style Home Group from Hawaii originally. Been out here in Colorado for 13 years now, raising my daughters. I got a 19 and a 15, hence the gray hair. Was a boat captain for about 16 years in Hawaii. Came out here to Colorado, figured that Hawaii and the ocean will always be there, but my kids are only young once. So I came out here to be close to my kids and really spent the time trying to figure it out what I was going to do. Found my way into real estate a little over 5 years ago, and just been absolutely amazing ever since.
Nice. You were a boat captain?
Yeah.
I never even knew that.
Yeah, I captained the catamarans off of Waikiki Beach for 16 years. Did boat deliveries. I've sailed from Texas to San Diego, down through the Panama, across the Pacific, up towards Alaska, Japan, Philippines. Gave it all up to landlocked Colorado.
Nice. So, did you grow up in, are you from Hawaii?
So I was born in California. Mom's from California, dad's born and raised in Hawaii. My family migrated from Spain to Hawaii in 1907. So my dad's side of the family is all born and raised in Hawaii, but I'm Portuguese Spanish from Hawaii.
Interesting mix.
Yeah. For sure.
At what point did you arrive in Hawaii?
I was, 15, 16, somewhere within that range. It's kind of hard to remember this far along in life.
Yeah, so before that you were where?
I was in Northern California.
Okay, what was it like growing up over there?
If you know anything about the Stockton slap, Stockton Lodi, it could be a little bit rough, man. I was in the Stockton Lodi area, which is the Valley, California. Not a lot going on around there, so us kids got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, hence why my mom sent me away from California to go to Hawaii, where my dad was from. Like, come on, kid, you got to get out of here and get your life straightened out.
Yeah. You still have family in Stockton?
Yeah. My brother actually runs Nick and Nathan Diaz Gym's Jiu-Jitsu Academy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
I've been training Jiu-Jitsu myself for about 13 years. The reason I got into Jiu-Jitsu was just that. My brother had been training for about 5 years prior, and he's my youngest brother. We were back home in Hawaii. All his boys are trying to test him out, like, hey, come on, bro. And he was whooping all of them, and he looked over at me. He goes, hey, what now? You want to go? I was like, psh. Whatever, you know, I'm the older brother. And yeah, he messed me up. Wow. And as soon as I got home, I went and secretly signed up. I was training for about a year undercover without him knowing. And my mom ratted me out and told him, he's like, oh, I hear you've been training. I was like, yeah, what, you want to go?
Yeah. I'm going to be ready now.
He's still whooping me to this day.
Wow, that's amazing.
He runs Nick and Nate Diaz's gym out of Stockton, California. He travels around the world with Nate to most of his fights. He helps corner him. He's actually his sparring partner that gets him ready for the fights.
That's awesome. That's just incredible, because I'm a big fan of the UFC.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm sure many others are.
Well, I bring him out here every now and then if you want to meet him.
Yeah, I'd love to. Anyway, what was it like growing up in Hawaii once you got over there?
I got over to Hawaii full time. I was about 16, I want to say, and 16-year-old mentality, we know it all. I was a small fish in a big pond, basically, getting out there, not knowing anything. Had to get a job, had to figure things out. It was a little rough at first, but I was welcomed in right away. A lot of people knew of my dad and his reputation from when he was young, and so I kind of eased my way into the beach boy life and started working on the beach when I was young and fell in love. That's really what changed my whole mentality around, from thinking I was the hardest little gangster kid in the world to I didn't know squat, really. So it really changed my life around, gave me a good appreciation of the ocean and just really a strong work ethic all the way around.
That's good. So you went out there all alone?
So my mom, I remember this to this day, she was out there prior, kind of setting things up, and she sent me out there. I had a piece of binder paper with some directions on it, $100 bill and a key.
Wow.
I was like, all right, here we go. So I went and I followed these directions, and it went to a little studio apartment. I opened it up and I was like, what the heck what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And I called my mom, and she's like, go get a job, go start applying. And so there was a Sizzler, of all you can eat shrimp. Who remembers Sizzler? Right? There's a Sizzler across the street, and that was my first job application. Got denied, and I just went down the strip, and then I saw these boats on the beach, and I was like, man, that looks pretty cool. And so I tried asking these guys if I could get a job, and nobody would hire me. And there's this one guy, he was a Tongan guy. His name was Tavita Lokete. And he had this big old afro, and he was a big drinker, and he played softball on the weekends. But he also worked on the weekends, so he called me up. He was like, hey, you want to cover my shift? I want to go to the park, drink beer, and play softball. I was like, I'm in. So I started off at 2 days a week.
Wow, that's a great story. Tell me more.
Well, so here's this. I applied all the way down the beach. None of them hired me. I started on this boat 2 days a week. Within, I want to say 2 to 3 months, I got to 4 days a week. They started to see my work ethic, who I was, how I was able to bring in the clients and the customers to the beach, because down there, that was my first introduction to sales. We would sit on the beach and, hey, sailboat ride today, gang. 1 hour tours, $10, $2 beers, $1 Mai Tais. Come on, gang, let's go. And you're just nonstop hustling. And that, I was good at sales. I was good at talking to people. And all of a sudden, I became a commodity where nobody wanted to hire me. I was now the guy that everybody wanted. Yeah. And because they saw I had a gift for talking and getting people to come aboard. I was good at sales.
Yeah.
I was good at selling sales.
What does Ohana mean?
Well, if anybody has watched Lilo and Stitch, you know that Ohana means family, which means nobody gets left behind. So that's basically the structure of my business. Ohana means family. I run a family-style home group. I try to treat every one of my clients like they're family, like they're my brother, my sister, my auntie, my uncle. I just want to make sure they're taken care of. So that is the concept of my business, is family-style real estate.
I understand you're also licensed in Florida.
Yes.
And how's everything been going with that?
Florida is good. I originally started Florida just for my own investments, doing short-term rentals, Airbnbs, but Florida, as everybody has seen, has just grown in popularity. A lot of people moving to Florida, and the business has taken off. I've actually done a lot of business for people selling here in Colorado wanting to purchase in Florida. So I try to help them out on that, is give them a discount on the commission on the sales side to help them purchase in Florida. So I'll let the seller in Florida pay me for the discount that I give them here in Colorado.
Yeah, so you own some investment properties over there?
No, I originally started my license to do that, but I've been so busy helping everybody else that I haven't had an opportunity to get my own yet.
Oh, that's crazy. We've spoke several times, and you do help people with the credit side of things also? Oh,
yes. So I also own Extra Credit Co., which is a credit repair company. We assist people with their credit to the point of qualifying and purchasing a home. Within that, I offer a home buyers program as well, where if you go through the program with us and use one of our preferred realtors, which being myself here in Colorado or in Florida, that I will credit back your fees and credit repair up to 1 year service fees. So if you complete the program, get a loan, and use one of our preferred realtors, I will credit back your fees up to 1 year.
Okay.
I figure if they put in the work and get their credit where it needs to be and actually succeed and purchase the home, that they deserve the reward. It's not a lot, but it helps pay for a home inspection, helps pay for an appraisal. I mean, $1,000 could be used in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it adds up. It helps out. Definitely everything helps. Speaking of the credit, what is one thing you would recommend that anyone can do to improve their credit score?
So the one thing I would suggest is credit utilization. Best practice is to keep your utilization below 30%. What that means is, say you have a $1,000 credit card, you never want to spend more than $300 on that credit card before you pay it down or pay it off in full. We all know that life happens and sometimes you go over that 30%, but best practice is to keep your utilization below 30%, and that will give you the most points for your usage.
Got it. So high credit limit, low balance.
Yes.
And continuous payments.
Continuous payments, paying your payments on time, early if possible. The credit bureaus put 35% of how they determine your score is going to be off of payment history. So making your payments on time. The other 30% is your utilization. So keeping your utilization down will help improve your scores, because right there, 65% of how they determine your score is payments and utilization.
Why is that, do you think? I mean, because like they're giving you all this credit, but they don't want you to spend. I mean, the credit card companies want you to spend the shit out of it, right?
Yeah, well, they want to spend out it. That's how they make their money. But it's unfortunate that America wants you to be in debt and they give you a grade or a score based on how well you manage it. So managing your credit correctly is paying your bills on time and making sure that you're not overextending yourself. And so you're keeping a low DTI or debt to income ratio. So 65% of how they determine it is based off of those two factors. Payment history and utilization.
Yep.
So that's showing,
sure.
Yeah, they're showing that you know how to manage credit.
Yeah.
And they'll give you more credit as long as you know how to manage it.
Exactly.
But if you have crappy management, then why would I give you more to manage?
That's well put. I know you, is there anything else you want to touch on as far as the credit goes?
Yeah, use me.
Yeah, there you go. And then I know you recently went to Costa Rica.
Yes, Costa Rica.
I saw those photos. It looks amazing over there.
Yeah, Costa Rica is pretty dope. I enjoyed it. I need to get more credit clients and sell more homes so I can buy a place over there. It was awesome. You know, being in Hawaii, I didn't make a lot of money, but I was very rich on life. Here in Colorado, I've done pretty well for myself, but I feel that I'm poor on life because I'm always working and I don't have that quality of life. And just spending that time on the beach with my son, playing in the sand and playing in the water, made me remember that there has to be an equal balance in life, right? You can't just always be working. You have to spend that quality time with your family and friends, because what else are we doing this for, right?
Yeah.
So I have to reevaluate. Not saying that I won't take on more clients. I just need to.
No, I'm the same way. I have a really hard time disconnecting, and I'm definitely long overdue for that experience with my family. So
Costa Rica is pretty dope.
How are the values over there?
So it's getting pretty popular over there. A lot of Americans moving down there just because it is affordable still, and it's beach life. It's one of the few spots that you could still buy beachfront property for a decent price. And the American dollar goes far over there. $1 equates, I think the exchange rate was like 620 colones right now. So the American dollar is pretty strong over there.
Wow.
It's not very strong anywhere else, but you know.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I might have to you might have to get licensed over there.
Right? I might have to do that. I mean, there's a lot of places that I need to get licensed right now. But the cool thing is Costa Rica is only, a little 2.5, 3 hour jaunt to Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
So I could, I'm already commuting there. I could commute from Costa Rica to Florida.
Yeah, there you go. I noticed some of your posts, there was a lot of like just wildlife like running around and stuff.
Yeah, man, there's these howler monkeys right outside our door. It's pretty dope. I was like, I've never really seen monkeys in the wild. I've seen them at the zoo, you go to the zoo and like, oh yeah, cool, monkeys, woohoo. But to have them outside your window and like, yeah, that was kind of cool. It was pretty neat.
I always see videos like where the monkeys are messing with people or taking their stuff. Do they mess with you at all, or?
No, I mean, where I was at was kind of highly tourist populated, so they're hanging out in the trees and the stuff, but they didn't really come down and bother people too much. As the sun goes down and cools off, I think they go through and rummage through the trash cans and stuff.
They don't bother too much.
They don't bother too much.
That's good.
But it was cool to see them. It was neat to see them in their natural habitat. which is kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I even saw that you did a little video of like an iguana.
Yeah,
Like they're just all out there.
all
hanging
over the
out,
place.
huh?
Yeah, that's like I kind of categorize the iguanas like the squirrels out here, man.
Oh,
They're just
wow.
everywhere.
Dang.
Yeah, and they're scurrying off and running up the tree. But it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Any interesting stories from out there from your trip?
Yes, we went out fishing, which I love to fish, and we went, I don't know, probably about 5-6 miles out, and over the radio, one of the other boats was talking about a pod of dolphins where we went after the dolphins, because where you find dolphins, you normally find fish.
Yeah.
And it was, growing up in Hawaii, I've seen tons of dolphins, and we have the Hawaiian spinners, spinner dolphins, and so on. Well, we got out there, and this pod of dolphins was probably, I don't know, 1 mile, 2 miles long.
Wow.
Thousands of them. I've never seen that many dolphins in my lifetime, and it doesn't happen very often. But there was thousands and thousands of them, and though I grew up with them, I was just fascinated on how many there were.
That'd be a beautiful sight. I gotta go down there.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. We only caught one fish, but the dolphins were cool.
It's okay. Yeah, that makes up for it. All right. I know you've been doing a Fun Fact Friday.
Oh, today I got to get it in.
I know.
Yeah, I got to get it in. I was trying to figure out what my fun fact is for today. I feel that I have to keep it real estate related because I had 2 fun travel related facts. Did you see last Friday's?
I didn't.
Last Friday's Fun Fact Friday was that at any given moment there is just under 10,000 airplanes in the air with just under 1.3 million people in the air at any given moment.
Bunch of airborne humans.
Right? And so they say it's the 150 something most popular is up in the air.
Yeah.
Because it's like 1.25 million people in the air at any given moment.
That's crazy to think about.
Right? I thought it was.
Like a mile-long dolphin.
Right? I mean, if you think about it, what's the population of Colorado? We're at 5.8 million right now.
Wow.
So something along that line. So, what is that? 1/5 of the population is in the air at any given moment.
Yeah. What's your favorite fun fact that you've done? Is that it? That's the one.
That one was pretty cool. The other one, it's not really the funnest one, but it was kind of sad that the U.S. is this way, but the United States is the only country in the world that doesn't have one required paid holiday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the U.S., we're slave drivers here. We don't have a required paid holiday.
That's crazy. But most people have like Christmas and 4th of July.
Yeah, but it's not required.
That's
Employers make you work it sometimes.
Yeah,
Some of them do.
Yeah, if you're in retail, of course you're going to be working Christmas. Well, it depends, I guess, on the employer, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Meow Wolf, were you happy? Were you disappointed? Were you pleasantly surprised?
Meow Wolf. So we went to a concert there last week, and then we went there again last night with my 15-year-old daughter. At first, I was a little confused on what it was, and as I was going through, there's a whole storyline behind Meow Wolf where it's almost like a giant escape room. So you got to go through and find clues and start to get your memories back, which was really cool. The concept is pretty neat. So there's little icons that you have this card, and you go and tap the card, and it will tell you a little story, and within that story it'll give you a clue. So then you go to a different world and find the next icon, and that will give you another little hint. And basically what you're trying to do throughout all these worlds is get your memories back. And so as you go through and find these little clues, it'll send you to another world where you would then connect your memories together to find the next clue.
Did you have to pay extra for the clue finding?
The card was $3 to get the card. Additional.
That's worth it to kind of have a little scavenger hunt type thing going on.
Yeah, the only problem is I probably, if you go with multiple people, I would suggest you guys get your own cards, because I was sharing with me, my wife, and my daughter, and everybody was like, "Hey, well, I want the card. I want the card." I was like, "Hey, but I'm just finally getting the hang of it. I'm finally getting it. No, don't take it from me." Yeah. But yeah,
that's awesome. How was the concert?
Concert was good.
Who was it?
Israel Vibrations. I like reggae. I'm a big reggae fan. I go to Reggae on the Rocks every year. Yeah, I mean, growing up in the islands, love reggae music. I sponsored a Hawaiian type music concert coming up April 29th. Bubba B is coming out, Hawaiian artist. Sponsored that concert. We're gonna go out there and hang out with Bubba B and listen to some Hawaiian music.
What about Hawaiian food? Where can we go in Denver to find some good Hawaiian food?
There are a few Hawaiian food restaurants here in Denver. You got L&L out in Aurora. You got Hangry Ohana that is down in Parker, also in Colorado Springs, Monument. Shout out to Grant. He is the owner of Hangry Ohana. He's my homie. You also have Ohana Grill, which there's one over by Sloan's Lake. And so it's getting more and more popular. None of them are as good as my food, but you know, when I'm feeling lazy, I'll go check them out.
When are you gonna start your restaurant?
Dude, I already do too much, man.
So what is, I think I've had Hawaiian food at one of your appreciation.
Yeah, my appreciation luau. I do my client appreciation luau.
But can you explain to people kind of what is Hawaiian food?
If you want to go into traditional Hawaiian food, you're going to go into, which is laulau, poi, kalua pig. Laulau is pork wrapped in, is pork with some salt fish and wrapped in a taro leaf, wrapped in a tea leaf, and then steamed. You got kalua pig, which is a pork that is cooked underground in an imu, which is an underground stove.
Yep.
And so with the underground stove, you heat the rocks up, you put your banana stumps on, your crushed banana stumps, your banana leaves, and then you put the pig on top of the leaves. You cover it with more banana leaves, burlap bag, plastic, and then you let it cook for 24 hours underground. Comes out, just falls right off the bone.
I've
kind
had
of
that.
Pulled pork.
Yeah.
Hoping to do a pig roast this year, which would be kind of cool. Just kind of hard because the ground gets cold here, where it's not, I mean, the ground's a little different here compared to the tropical areas, but we're gonna go for it, see what happens.
Yeah.
You also got some other types of Hawaiian that is categorized as Hawaiian food. You got like a barbecue chicken, which is a Hawaiian marinade. You got Kalbi ribs, which is the beef short rib with that has kind of a sweet soy marinade on it, which is pretty good. Rice with every meal. My normals that I cook though is kalua pig, lomi salmon, Kalbi ribs, mac salad, and rice. Do a little bit of poke on the side. I've tried to introduce poi to my clients, but everybody's like, what's that?
What is it?
Poi is cooked taro root mashed up into a paste. And so it's a staple to Hawaiian food, high in carbohydrates and protein. But in ancient Hawaiian days, they poi or taro root was one of their main crops. And so you have taro root, they would boil the taro, they would bake the taro, or they'd do all kinds of things, but poi was just a product of taro root.
All right, well that's awesome. Bonus round. Have you ever had stitches? from a non medical procedure type of thing?
I have had more stitches than I could count. I actually carry a suture kit on my person on a regular basis just because I do. Wow. I've stitched myself up. That one right there, I've stitched up. I'm a walking stitch myself, to be honest. I've got scars everywhere.
Give us an interesting story about one of the stitches.
Well, this one that I tried to stitch myself up, I was in, I almost lost the end of my finger there.
Wow.
I was in Portland, Oregon for my nephew's bachelor party. And obviously there might be alcohol involved in this story, but we were hanging out, running around downtown Portland, going to different clubs and bars, and we're all getting a little wild, horsing around, and I thought I was Mr. Parkour. I'm not parkour at all. And I went and jumped off of a park bench to swing around a light pole, and I didn't know there was an ID tag on the other side, and it just ripped that sucker wide open. And I didn't say anything. I just clenched my hand and I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh. And so there's a newspaper little thing there. I pulled out the newspaper and I wrapped it around my finger, closed my hand, and just kept walking. And my niece was there and goes, man, somebody's bleeding really bad. I was like, I partied the whole night long, got back to my brother's house and asked if he had a sewing needle and some fishing line, and I started to sew my finger back up.
You wanted to get nice and drunk before you tried it, or what?
Oh, well, yeah, but the sewing needle was like this
my
big, and the fishing line wasn't bad, so I just super glued it, and the next morning I went to the urgent care, they helped me sew the rest of it up, because I didn't do too well on that one.
So did you wash it? Or at least try to wash it?
I washed it in the bathroom at the bar.
I'm sure all the bad stuff bled out anyway, huh?
Sure. Nothing a little newspaper ink won't help.
Have you ever had a paranormal experience?
Yes, and this was just recent. So my Uncle John, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, passed away about 11 years ago. And ever since then, my mom notices this, and I've always noticed it, and every time you find a dime, we always categorized it as my Uncle John. You know, hey, there's Uncle John. So every time you see a dime, you pick it up.
Yeah.
Well, I am currently going through a refinance on my house, and the underwriter needed me to file my 2021 taxes. It was kind of a last minute deal, so we're trying to get it done as fast as possible. CPA, finally got my taxes in, and I had to rush down to the IRS office downtown, and they're appointment only, but every time you call, you get hung up on. You call, you get hung up on. You call, you get hung up on. And I was, gosh dang. So I just said, screw it. And I went down to the IRS office, and they're like, sorry, sir, it's appointment only. And I'm like, ma'am, I understand that. I've called in, I got hung up on, and I really am in dire straits, and I need to get this done. I was hoping that I could come down here, pull on somebody's heartstrings, and get an appointment in. And she goes, well, luckily people haven't showed up today, so I'll go ahead and give you a number. I'm like, okay, awesome. Get in there, sit down. Within 15, 20 minutes, my number's called. I sit down, and right on the desk is a dime. I was like, Uncle John, you rock, brother. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Yeah, because why would there be a dime in the IRS office? You're not paying. Oh, here, let me pay my taxes.
Yeah.
Shall I?
And why wouldn't she just be like, I'm sorry, sir, I just can't. But something happened that day, everything clicked.
Everything clicked,
Thanks,
and there was a dime there. Thanks, Uncle John.
If you had one day left on Earth, what would you do?
Honestly, I'd spend it with my family. I could say something crazy like, oh, I'm going to go skydiving, or I'm going to go and get wasted for the rest of the day, or I'm going to do... No, I would try to spend as much quality time with my family as possible, because without them, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, or be where I am today without them. So that would
Makes
be it.
sense.
Yep.
Makes absolute sense. Do you know any jokes? Any clean ones?
No. I was going to say, they're all pretty dirty, but what do you call a fish with no eye?
I don't know, what?
What do you call a deer with no eye?
What?
No idea.
Let's do a speed round. So I'm going to just ask you some questions. You just answer them quickly.
All right.
All right. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Burgers or tacos?
Tacos.
Beard or mustache?
Beard.
Classic or modern?
Classic.
Airplane or road trip?
Road trip.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Warm or cold weather?
Warm.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Toilet paper over or under?
Toilet paper over or under? So,
Yep.
Tail or mullet?
Exactly.
Tail. I want the over. No way the under. The under is not correct, man.
The under going back toward
Backwards,
the wall.
yeah, the mullet. the going towards the wall is the mullet. That is not correct.
Yeah, I agree.
I will change it every time.
I agree. You know, the only problem is when you have a toddler, and they spin that thing like the Wheel of Fortune. It's just like all over the bathroom floor.
You're winning a prize. It's
You
like a
just
slot
gotta switch
machine.
it until they get old enough, and you switch it back.
Right.
So, do you do any reading?
Yes. Current book, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's how, oh gosh, I can't, it's How to Make Friends and Influence People by...
I've read it. Carnegie?
Yeah. Yes, that's my current read right now. But yeah, I like a lot of books. Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, Conversations with God, 1, 2, and 3, Celestine Prophecy, the 4 agreements, or 4, I've read, a lot of reading. I like to read. I just don't find the time. And I hate to say this, but mid-40s, it's official. I've been blaming it on the light for a while now. Had to get myself some readers. Throw those suckers on.
Can't avoid age.
Yeah, it's official.
Just to kind of wrap up, if there was one book you would recommend to your viewers here, what would be one?
The one that I really like and I still reflect on a lot today is Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, because
I've read that one too.
Yeah, there's nothing else that we can control but this moment. And that goes into the old saying of yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Master Oogway, Kung Fu Panda.
The book is really powerful. I mean, some people might listen to it and be like, oh, this is like hippie stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, the message of the book is so simple.
Yeah.
And if you kind of just relax and you're in this moment, you don't have any problems, you don't have any worries.
Yeah.
You know, those are all things that are either before you or after you, or, you know, burdening your brain or whatever, your mind. But Power of Now is a great book, and I second that recommendation.
Yeah. All you can do is control this moment, you know.
Yeah.
You can't change the past. You can't control the future. All you got is now.
Yeah, right now, exactly.
Well,
it's great having you on, sir.
of course.
And if you guys like our video, be sure to check out some of our other videos, and catch you later.
Aloha.
Aloha.